What's going on, beautiful people? I hope you guys are doing excellent today. I am Carrington Brown, your relationship expert. And today, man, I got another question that I received. And it's interesting that I'm receiving a question like this because lately I've been seeing myself having to have a lot of conversation regarding this topic. And I don't really understand why. So let's talk about it, y'all. So the email says, I have a male friend who I've known for around 3 years, and we have become closer friends within the last year or so. We recently had an open conversation about the fact that there seems to be something else between us, and we would like to spend more time together, just the two of us, and see where it goes and how we feel. We are both Christian. We have some similar interests, mutual friends. We get on really well. We can talk for hours, etc. I feel comfortable being myself around him, and he often makes an effort for me, such as helping me move from my home, bringing me gifts here and there. Last year, he even threw me a birthday party. He is very kind, generous, and thoughtful, and I'm attracted to him. The issue on my mind is he is currently separated and in the process of getting a divorce. I don't feel clear about what's okay and not okay in God's eyes, i.e. regarding him remarrying. Of course, that is way off, but I wouldn't want to get into anything that doesn't have the possibility of a future or a future that would be regarded from the offset as a sin. I would love to hear your thoughts and advice. Thank you so much. So here's a situation of a young lady who has who has ended up building a bond, building a connection, building a relationship, a friendship, she said, with an individual who is currently separated, right, and going through the divorce process. And her desire is to have a relationship, but as she pointed out, she wants to be intentional about having a relationship that glorifies God. And so one of the questions that she threw out was regarding remarrying and if that's okay in God's eyes. And so when we look at remarry, if we look at the Bible talks about, the two causes or the two situations that create space or opportunity for remarriage is death and adultery, right? So regarding this situation, I'm not sure why he's getting divorced, but it ain't death, but if adultery was definitely one of the causes, he definitely has freedom to remarry from a biblical perspective. But that's not really what I want to focus on because that's not really the issue. The real challenge in this situation is that you're building and even being transparent about romantic desires with a man who is still married. And so I have a lot of conversations, crazy enough, and even hear a lot of people talking about their position, their perspective about navigating romantic relationships with people who are separated, right, who have been away from their wife, because it's women. Like, I've never heard a man saying this stuff, but it's women. So the women talk about, I'm dating somebody or I'm being intimate with somebody who's currently separated. They've been separated for 6 months, a year, 3 months, 3 years, 5, whatever, but they're going to divorce their wives. And so the real issue is that you're choosing, because you express to an extent the way that you value marriage and you value relationships, and you want to make sure that you do it in a way that glorifies God, which is amazing. But you can't expect to build a respectable marriage if you don't respect marriage, right? And everything that comes with it. So even though this individual is separated and him and his wife may not, right? Because who knows what's really happening, may not be still married, may be in the process of divorcing. Until he's officially divorced, then he's still married. And for all y'all people that's hearing me say this, that have the perspective of, well, marriage, if they separated, then, they just being held together by a piece of paper. No, it's not just a piece of paper. You're being held together by a covenant that you two made under God, which means that when you said I do, you didn't just say I do to that person. You also said I do to the vows and the promise of those vows in unison with I do to God and glorifying him in this relationship. And so you choosing to allow yourself to gain feelings, grow feelings, be emotionally connected, and reach a point of having transparent conversations about your romantic desires with this person, and there's still marriage, that's infidelity. That's cheating, right? I don't care how you want to spin it, how you want to look at it. If you're in a relationship, dating, messing around in any way, shape, form, or fashion with an individual who is still married, I don't care about separated, still married, you're in sin. You're sinning. That is infidelity. And so, what my advice for this for you is for this individual who sent in this email and anybody else who's in a situation like this, stop. Like, stop. Because you're planting seeds of disrespect regarding marriage, which are going to come to fruition in some way, shape, form, or fashion, right? To be okay building a relation with somebody who is currently separated, which means they're still legally and covenantly married, that's you disrespecting marriage. And so you have to treat other people's marriages the same way that you desire for other people to treat and value and honor and cherish your marriage. So this would be my advice for this individual. Stop. Once again, leave this relationship, step back, right? If the cause for his divorce is adultery or something like that, then once he becomes divorced, then y'all can maybe start building. But at the same time, once he becomes divorced, there's so much ripping and tearing apart that comes with that journey, that process. He really needs to spend some time by himself as a newly single individual, adapting to that life and adapting to that lifestyle, and really maybe even going to therapy and getting some healing and some work done on himself so that he can be who he needs to be able to be a better version of himself in his next marriage. Because marriage ain't perfect, and it's never a situation where one person was just the issue. Both parties always play a role. So he needs time to actually grow and develop and enhance himself so that he's actually ready to be a husband in the future if he actually wants to be there. Right. So that's my advice for you and anybody else watching this. If you're building a relationship with somebody who is still married and is separated, you're disrespecting marriage, you're disrespecting God, and you're influencing somebody to walk in infidelity. So you need to do yourself a favor, do God a favor, and the covenant of marriage a favor, and stop. Disconnect yourself. Separate yourself, and then with that individual becomes single if the marriage purposes or the divorce purposes were right or in alignment with what God says. Then maybe you guys can start building a relationship. But if they separated, they still married. So stop disrespecting it, because I don't like that. You feel me? And God doesn't like it, and you shouldn't like it because you wouldn't want anybody to navigate a relationship like you're doing right now with your spouse if you were in the process of separating either. So that's my advice. That's my perspective, my position on it. If you got an issue with it, let me know in the comment box below. If you got a question about this question, write it in the comment box below. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. If you don't already, follow me on all social media platforms. I'm at TheCarringtonBrown. And also this, if you have challenges, if you have struggles, if you're having any question marks in regards to relationships, shoot me an email, TheCarringtonBrown@gmail.com, or you can shoot me a DM on Instagram, once again at TheCarringtonBrown, or you can click the link in the bio to do a free 15-minute call with me if you don't desire for it to become a video or be answered publicly, right? So love y'all. I hope y'all have a phenomenal, blessed, productive day, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace out.